Hi, Connell Maguire. I'm a CEO of Warsaw Properties. As you can imagine from the name, Warsaw Properties, we're based here in Warsaw in Poland. We are a company that helps private and professional investors on the Polish property market. This year is our 20th anniversary. We've been open since 2004, helping investors operate here in the Polish market. A big part of the work we do with investors is helping them with interior design and fit outs. So when you buy a property in Poland, it's not fitted out. The developer sells you an apartment in a raw shell and core state. So you have wires, you have pipes, you have sometimes no plaster on the walls. We help investors come along and design and plan and budget the whole fit out process and procurement. It obviously takes a little bit longer because some investors think that, hey, my apartment is ready, I've paid for it, I've bought it from the developer, but oh no, I don't have a fit out. So that's when we come in. We have 20 years experience in fitting out apartments, not only in Warsaw, across all of Poland. We're active in many cities like Łódź, Katowice, Gdańsk, Kraków, Wrocław. We have teams all over Poland. We hold investors' hands through the whole process, from the very first day of arranging the fit out down to when the knives and forks are in the drawers in the kitchen ready for the tenants to move in. There's a few different schools. Obviously, there's no one standard approach. Every investor also has their own experience from different markets. So we help, let's say, merge the investor's expectations and experience with the tenant's expectation and experience on the Polish market. So I would say that managing today a portfolio of over 2,500 apartments in Poland, 90% of the apartments that we manage are fully furnished. So when I mean fully furnished, I mean we have built-in kitchens, kitchen appliances, doors, floors, bathrooms, etc. And on top of that, beds, sofas, tables, chairs, all the movable furniture. And that's, I would say, the standard that tenants expect. Some investors try to, let's say, or want to, or feel it would be more competitive from their angle if they bring things to another level. And what I mean by bringing things to another level, I mean adding more to the apartment. You can focus on decorations. You can try to make your apartment more attractive. Add pictures on the walls. You can add rugs on the floors. You can maybe add some more appliances like kettles, toasters. You can put things in the kitchen like knives, forks, plates, pots, pans. And they're very nice to have, but they're never deal breakers. A tenant will never come to an apartment and say, oh, there's no pots and pans, I'm not living here. There are a lot of little things that when a tenant comes and visits the apartment and looks at it and sees that, okay, cosmetically is very nice, but there's also a lot of other things that would help me live here and that would also make my life easier. It would make it cheaper to move in here because I don't need to buy pots now. I don't need to go to IKEA and buy plates and cups, etc. The investor can help the tenant by adding those little things, but they're never deal breakers. In my opinion, it's best, first of all, to focus on quality. I see so many investors come and they think, okay, I bought the apartment, I've spent so much money in the apartment, and now I want to do a fit out, but I want to do the fit out as cheaply as possible. A really nice apartment with a beautiful view or a big balcony in a cool building with lots of different amenities, and then they save money on the fit out. And what they're actually doing is they're not adding to their investment, they're taking away from the investment. Polish investors, they also invest in property and they also put nice fit outs and they get interior designers involved. So if you buy an apartment in a really cool building, but then do a cheap fit out, you're not doing yourself any favors because your neighbors or other investors that bought in the building will have cool fit outs as well as being in a cool building, and that's your competition. So you can be clever, you can do a cool fit out without spending a fortune. We have a lot of experience in making apartments look really nice. We know the latest trends on the market. Tenants in Poland are usually young professionals, so we're not following trends that maybe I would like in my own home, because in a few years I'll be 50 years of age and the tenants are people who are finishing university and they're between 25 and 30 years of age. We've got a young team here that follow the interior design trends and what the local tenants require and like, etc. You know, people are very often afraid that, oh, if I do a nice fit out, if I spend a lot of money, the tenants will destroy my property and it will waste all my money on a fit out. And that's generally not the case. People who are renting apartments in Poland, I would say it's maybe 50-50 between Polish people and foreign tenants. So they can be international students who are coming to Poland on, they've won scholarships, they're super intelligent, they come here to work very hard on their scholarship to qualify to be doctors, dentists, veterinary surgeons, etc. You have lots of foreign expatriates coming to Poland working in international companies, working in embassies. And they're not people who come here to party. They're not people who come to destroy your apartment. So spending and investing on a good fit out, it's not a waste of money. It's don't cut corners on quality, because quality will last forever. Putting in cheap floors, putting in cheap doors or cheap door handles, after 12 months, after 24 months, our technicians are going back to these apartments, changing the door handles, repairing things, and all those savings that the investor thought they made, they didn't make, because they had to pay for repairs and their apartment was maybe empty longer because the apartment was being repaired, or after 12 months the tenant said, no, there were too many problems in this apartment, so I'm moving out, I want to find another apartment. So all the savings that investors think they maybe make by doing a cheaper fit out, in the long term, they just, it simply costs them more. We have a 2-year general guarantee on all the work we do. A lot of the equipment then has 1 year, 2 years or 3 years guarantees from the producers. And because our teams maintain the apartments on a day-to-day basis, we're always in contact with the tenants. If something happens, we're quick to react and repair. And on top of that, because we fit out so many apartments, we have very good contact with all the furniture suppliers. So when we ask them to help, to repair, to change something, they react much more quickly to our request than they would react to maybe a private person who's just fitting out one apartment or buying one washing machine. So we've got a little bit of extra power when we're dealing with those service contracts and guarantees. Fit outs, as anybody knows, whether it's your own private apartment at home or whether you're just putting a new kitchen in your house, etc. There can be a lot of emotion. She likes this, he doesn't like that. So what we try to do is keep things simple. So instead of having 10 bathrooms, 5 doors, lots of choices, etc., we know what tenants like. We've been managing and renting and fitting out apartments in Poland for 20 years now. So we keep it simple. We have 2 different packages or styles to choose from, and each package has 2 different standards. We have a premium, a higher standard, and we have a more simple package. You can chop and change parts of those packages if you want to maybe invest a little bit more, if you want to save on some things. We can tell you what you can save on that won't have any effect on the rental prices, but also we can tell you where best to invest if you want to spend more on the apartment to improve it. We've shortened that process to a few simple choices in order to make it as easy as possible. So the first step is sit down with us and decide what package you want, what standard you want. And then our team go to collect your apartment from the developer. We do the technical collection. We go through the whole apartment. We check how the windows are, if the hinges are working properly, if there's any scratches on the glass, how the doors look, does the ventilation work correctly, what about all the electrical sockets, is there power in every one? So if there's an issue, we write it into the handover protocol. The developer generally has 2-3 weeks to correct all these issues and snags. They confirm to us that it's okay. We go back with the developer, check, fine, great, thank you very much. We collect the apartment. Then we have to sign an electricity contract because there's no power in the apartment yet. And once we get the electricity connected, then we can start the fit out program that we've agreed with the investors. A fit out usually takes between 8 and 12 weeks, depending on the amount of work that has to be done, depending on the availability of products, etc. But I would say 8 weeks is the fastest if everything goes according to plan and if the suppliers and materials are available. average is about 10 weeks. And once the apartment is within 2-3 weeks of finishing, in our software system, there's an automatic message that goes from the fit-out department to the letting department to tell the letting team, hey, in 3 weeks, this apartment will have the fit-out ready and it will be ready for rentals. So please start considering this apartment as a potential rental project for some tenants. The payment schedule is broken up into usually three installments. We receive one installment before we start work because we have to order materials, pay deposits on doors, for some labor, etc. One installment usually after about 50% of the work is done, and then the next installment when we finish and when the investor sees photographs and films of their finished apartment. And that's usually the way the process works. And then we start rental process. Don't be your own worst enemy. Don't think that by saving on the fit out or by cutting really obvious things out of the fit out that you're going to save money in the long run. I've seen so many investors say, oh no, I want to save on this and save on that. You know, the rental market is like the rental market everywhere. It's competitive. So help yourself, support yourself. Don't spend a lot of money on an apartment and then save on the fit out. You will get a return from this investment, not only from longer rental periods, not only from more stable rental agreements, not only from fewer repairs, but when the day comes to sell your apartment will also be a much more sellable asset. So you will get more for your apartment when you're selling it than if you put in tiny kitchens or save on put in cheap appliances, etc. We have the experience. We can help you make the right decisions to make sure that you get good rental value, you have low maintenance costs, and you have a high resale value.